Alright, so we are back in the shop, and I'm going to take a few things off this engine, put it on this engine. I don't know if you can actually see this engine. I don't know if I got you close enough. Let me angle you just a little bit, like that. So you'll be pointing down just a little bit, but you can see more. So I have the bracket, part of the bracket to hold the oil canister, right, to hold this oil canister on that F head. But one part of the bracket is broken, and then there's another piece that I have, but I don't know where it is. I have no idea where it is. So we're going to rob it off this engine. I'm going to use this canister because it's in better shape. It's been painted, but we're going to use this one's bracket. So we're going to try to rob this off, and I'm also going to go ahead and pop off this manifold. I think I've already had it off in the past. I'm not entirely sure. I went ahead and ordered another set of manifold gaskets, even though I've already bought them. I had them. I don't know where they are. I can only find one of them. I went ahead and ordered another set of them. They're not really that expensive, so I just went ahead and bought them. I might need this line right here, so we're going to try to be gentle when we remove this. We probably should look and see if there's any oil in it. There probably is. Maybe try to keep that to a minimum, how much oil we spill all over the ground. Get this oil canister taken off. It's got a bracket that goes underneath two of the head bolts. It was already missing one bolt up top, so that means we've only got, one down here and one on this side, so it should come off pretty easy. We're going to put this bolt over here on our magnetic tray so we don't lose it. That one, of course, you can't get to it. I hope this is somewhat interesting to y'all. It might not be. I hope it is. Trying to get some more content, y'all. And it's different content. I've had the two-wheel drive Willys quite a long time, and I really haven't filmed a whole lot of content about it. Certainly not recently. Well, let's kick over our light. Let's see. Does that work better directly? Yeah, that actually does work better. I haven't done much with it in a long time, so should be kind of a breath of fresh air. Some different content for y'all. I have to get a wrench on that. Alright, here's our oil canister. It does feel like there's some liquid in it. I'm going to have to pull these two head bolts out to get this part of the bracket. And there's a bolt right here that holds your dipstick housing, runs into the side of it. This bracket's got the stud in it that we need. Well, we'll throw that wrench on the ground. We'll throw that one up there. We're going to try to get this off. as carefully as we can, because if I can, I'm going to try to use this line right here. There it went. Try to do this without twisting that hose apart. Now, like I say, this has probably got oil in it. In fact, I'm sure it probably does. So I guess we'll just hold it upside down when the oil starts pouring out of it. Well, this one's got a different connector on it. Well, nothing's coming out of it. I guess there ain't no oil in it. I guess it all drained back down into the oil pan. Well, that's good. Anyway, we need these clamp assemblies that hold this housing. Those clamps right there. We need that. Like I say, I took this off. I just don't know where it's at. It's probably in one of my mini boxes that has random Jeep parts in it. Now, I've had good success doing this, pulling head bolts with an impact, but you got to be gentle. Or you just barely feather the trigger, get it broke loose, tighten it, break it, back and forth, back and forth. I've had better success doing it that way than by hand, because you don't jar it. It doesn't get that hammer action to get it broke loose. So we're going to try it with the impact, see if we can't get those broke free. These are a nice vintage old socket set that was here at this property when we bought it. They were here in the shop. So let's see if we can replicate it. And we did. Now that was on the weakest setting, that's why it was fighting it, but that pulled that head bolt out. Didn't break it. We can run it back in when we're done, when we put it back together. You don't want to break these. I mean, generally you should replace them if you take them out, but like there's nothing wrong with that one. You could run it again. You're supposed to change them, but I don't know how much faith I put into that. That's a different size, that one. Now, hope we can get, yeah, we can get on that one. Well, there's that one. These are in real good shape. They're not pitted up or nothing. They shouldn't be, but I've seen them that are. So now we got to take this bolt out, and that whole bracket will come off, and we can clean it up. That's probably a 9/16, I suppose. Well, no. Oh, it just had so much grit on it. It's 1/2 inch. It's got enough grit on it where it looks like it's a 9/16. There we go. I'm just glad to save this engine right here because, like I said, the block's good. It could be rebuilt. You know, I'm not throwing it away, not actively trying to sell it or anything. There's our bracket right there. But otherwise, if I hadn't got it, eventually it would have probably ended up in the scrapyard. So it's definitely better to use it to save another Jeep than it is to let it go to the scrapyard. You know, I'll find the other piece that's off this engine. I'll find it eventually. So, now is that bolt there holding this on this engine? It is. And then our 2 head bolts, those should have been pulled on this engine before. So we should be fine to pull those loose. I've got to make sure all these head bolts are torqued. I haven't had them all out all together on this engine. on the good engine, but I've had a couple of them when I moved it. I had one out in the corners, and then I had those two out. So I'm going to have to go back and make sure they're all torqued. And if need be, I've got a new head gasket for it if we get in the truck and it's leaking. We can always pull the head. I've got to get some bolts so I can mount this vise down instead of putting it on a piece of OSB that's precariously balanced on two vintage sawhorses, you know. Get this. I really should paint this bracket, and I might go ahead and just spray it a little bit in this Arctic weather before I put it on. At least paint the back side of it before I put it on. We're going to move this microphone over here by the camera so that it's not as loud. There you go. And that's why you should be more careful when you're using power tools. I just got careless and it tore a nice hole in my jacket. Oh well. That's better than it was, and we only tore a little bit in our jacket. So, I mean, it ain't perfect, but we're not going for perfect. We're just going for better. And yes, you should probably wear gloves while you use the brake cleaner, and if you want to wear gloves, then you should wear them. I'm not saying you should do everything the Red Clay Traveler does, alright? We'll use this filthy rag right here to try to wipe off some of this. The plywood right here, we'll paint it right here on this. How about that? I'll be over here in that area painting this thing. No sense in moving the camera again. And you probably shouldn't do this on extremely cold days like I'm doing it right now. We'll let that sit there for a minute and just kind of freeze up. If I can get this lid to go back on this bloody paint can, there we go. Alright, so let's run these bolts back in the head on this one while we wait for that to tack up. And we'll just snug them up. You know, we're not worried about torquing them exactly to spec here or anything. We're just worried about getting them back in there. Now the bracket's not there, so I don't know if these bolts are longer than they need to be because of that bracket. So you don't want to run them in there hard because you might break the block or something. So we're just gonna snug them back up, set on the weakest mode. And we'll do the same with this other one over here. That's seated back. We got this attached somewhat right. we'll go over here and pull these head bolts out on this other engine. And like I say, we'll snug them back up using the same method, but I'm going to have to go back and torque all the head bolts correctly because I'm not sure what the torque spec is. We're just going to do kind of the same thing over here very gently because we don't want to break the head bolts in our good engine. Very gently. We'll go ahead and loosen this. Put that bolt down there. Can't get on either one of these with the gun. Oh, there we go. Should be able to get on the one in the back. Yeah, we can. There's that one's head bolt right there. Now this one's got some pitting on it. I'm tempted to swap it for one of those other ones, but this bolt's still healthy. It's still strong. So it's probably unnecessary to worry about it. But of course this socket's too dang thick to get on that one. Have to get a thinner walled. I don't know, might have to be a wrench on it actually. Turning the whole engine. There we go. Maybe my wrench is splayed open some. No, it's about the same. I don't know. It just seems a little loose on it to me. We don't want to leave these out forever. We want to get them swapped as quick as we can. So we're going to put that bracket on here wet so that we can get these snug back up. They don't have to be torqued exactly perfect. We just got to get them back on. You know. Some rust in that one's hole for some reason. I'm going to clean that bolt up some. Clean it on the wire wheel real quick. I don't know why, because this bolt's been out before. Or at least I thought it was. Maybe it was missing this old bracket to begin with, and I'm just not able to remember anything due to the amount of crap that goes on. I don't know. This is about flash drying over here, so we'll go ahead and bring it with us. Ooh. We're just going to snake it in there. And it should go right on. bit on this bolt too. You're not supposed to do that because it throws off torques and whatnot, but you're also not supposed to just loosen random bolt heads and tighten them back either. So head bolt, I mean, now how we're going to get this one torqued back, I have no idea, because you can't get a socket on it because of the thermostat housing. And if I'd have known that, I would have done this all in a different order. I really don't know what to tell you on that. Let's see if I can't find a socket I don't care about that's thin-walled, so we can tighten that on up, because I don't want to leave them loose and give that head a chance to spring a leak. And that one goes on it. That's obviously not torque to spec, and I'm going to look it up probably here in a minute and torque them. I'll just leave that socket out. We need to get this on attached. So that one appears to be too dang short. That bolt's better, that one will work. We'll just use this longer one. Because I don't know why, but the one that came out of this is way too short. Alright, so that's on there. Like I say, I'm going to pause the camera and look up the torque specs on this and go ahead and torque these. And make sure that they are at least close to where they should be. They felt pretty tight. And I know they weren't back to factory torque, I don't think, but I think I did them pretty close. I'm not sure what it is. I'll have to look it up real quick. So I'll be back with you momentarily after I find that out. Alright, so I looked it up, and the head bolts are torqued to 60 to 70 foot-pounds. So I'm going to grab the torque wrench, and we're going to do that real quick. We're going to work this torque wrench. You're supposed to work them all the way up and then all the way back. and then set it to your torque spec is what the manual claims. I don't know that that actually does anything, but we'll do it. We'll give ourselves every chance we can. All right, 60 to 70. So we'll start at 60. All right, there's 60. Of course, I tightened this up before I thought about this all the way through. That one's already added anyway. Let's see what this head bolt's at. That one's already in it. That one already is too. Like I say, these should be, but I know I had a couple of them out. All right, so that's 60. Let's go to 65. See what that does. All right, there's 65. There's 65. Not sure how that one's already 65, but it is. That one is too, so we'll assume that those are. Let's go to 70. All right, there's 70 on that one. Oh, it makes me nervous. I don't want to break one of these off in the head. And then you'll have a freaking nightmare. All right, there's that one. We'll check this one. It should be. Yep, it's already at 70. What's this one at? It's at 70. I try to do it the best wrong way that I can. Like this bolt I couldn't get on it as good as I'd like to, but so it's not as clean a torque spec because it's not seated quite properly. Always got to make sure you don't adjust it pulling on it. All right, we'll call it good. And then relieve the pressure off your torque wrench. Take your sockets off. We'll leave our wrench out because we're gonna have to do the crank bolt, but I need Brittany to hold it in the back there. But anyway, yeah, we got this on here. That's good. I'm gonna have to clean up the brackets on that other piece. Probably no reason to show you that, but I might film it for some B-roll footage. But we're just trying to make steady Small progress. If y'all ever have anything that y'all were looking for, or maybe you just have some questions, or you want to talk Jeeps or something, feel free to reach out to me. If I have any parts available that you're looking for or something, just let me, let me look. I might be able to help you. I'm interested in trying to help Willys folks, right? I've ran into a lot of folks that didn't want to offer much help to me, didn't want to sell me any parts, or if they did, they wanted to charge me 10 times the price and all that. And I'd really kind of like to see a change in that in the Willys community, because it's needless, A lot of the guys that are into Jeeps, they wish more people were into them and kept them alive, and then unfortunately some of those folks that feel that way aren't willing to do anything to help other Willys guys, specifically if they're young, but really in any kind of any age I've run into. So, if I can help, just reach out to me on Facebook at my REDCLAYTRAVELER page. You can always email me at REDCLAYTRAVELER@yahoo.com, or you can leave me a message in the comments below any of my videos, and we can get connected there. But if you're looking for some small part that you can't find online or whatever, I might have it, I might not, but I might be able to help you find one. I am the REDCLAYTRAVELER, and I'm not going to sign off or anything, because I'm going to film more, and this is all going to be one video, but most of this doesn't matter what I'm saying right now. Anyway, I love you, and we're going to get this F-head in that truck sooner than later. Yeah, buddy.